and going all in all the time, you cannot. Simply because it will bite you in the ass and it will cost you a lot. In my case, it cost me my freedom multiple times, a lot of money and a lot of time. See, you can get back money and yeah, the time you never get back, but I want to prevent that you fall into those things. So for example, you start a Shopify store now, just saying Shopify, because I see a lot of those commercials in my feed. The thing is, Shopify, and you make 10 grand a month all of a sudden, and then you didn't build a character along the way. You know, so for example, when I was 41, and it was the last time that I pretty much had to recover again. Now I'm in the upscaling phase, but I'm really taking my time to think about, you know, what is happening. How can I control? You know, how can I make sure that nobody else can take it away from me again? And it's not about people who will intentionally take it away from me, but I built things in the past on, how do you say this? This drowning sand. You know, that you drown in, there is no fundament. Now the fundament of everything is like concrete, strong. People cannot take it away from me. My things are all digital. You cannot steal it. Yeah, of course, hackers, but then still it needs to be attached to my name. There's a lot of things that's not attached to my name. I have a trusted circle of people that I, you know, built along the way by setting my boundaries high, the filters. And I'm mentioning all those filters in my vlog. But yeah, this vlog was about getting outside, out of your head, out of your negative thinking. And you know what? A lot of people who are in a negative thinking way, I would say a mood, but or a phase. But if you don't have phase with the P, H, but if you don't want to face reality, you will always stick into it and then it becomes part of you. And I do believe when you stay negative and that the world is going to hell and everything, and that all the next generations will be burnt because the earth is heating up and all that kind of stuff, that is all great, but if you don't do anything about it, then it's again only happening in your head. So get out of your head. And not only this, I talked about this once before, I know people who died way too young, but they also were very negative. Very negative. There's one experiment, right? I talk about it in one clip, and it was about water. And I don't know exactly, just Google it, and then you will know the exact story. But the molecules in the water, they reacted on the negativity. There was one experiment that they talk sweet words, the other one is very negative talk and shouting and all that kind of stuff. Just look for it. I don't know the name of the experiment. I thought, yeah, now yeah, that makes sense. And people are made of, exist out of, I don't know what, 70+% water. So I don't know what, maybe I start sounding like a hippie, but I do believe when you act positive, you will find a lot of other positive people. I also can talk about something else. So for example, if I would focus on the people that, I'm in Bulgaria, you know, there are people who judge me on my color. I'm raised by white people, but it doesn't matter. But if I would really focus on those, then my whole world goes to hell, right? But I'm focusing on the 99% of the nice people that I meet every single day. When I go to the supermarket, people are smiling. When I go, wherever I go, I see and I talk with a lot of positive people. So I'm focusing on them. And even when people, let's say also even a smaller percentage of the negative people, and sometimes I ask, why did you say this? You know, I'm raised by white people and my parents were probably more whiter than your parents, because my father always had gray hair. Yeah, got you, bitch. Anyway, just saying. And the thing is, I also, when you would meet me in real life and talk with me, you understand that I probably don't fulfill your so-called picture of a colored person, you know. I also do believe that some people that are in the hating game, you know, they are also really in their own head. But you know what? The more negative things are, the bigger groups you also need. And negative thoughts will always need to be shared. Positive as well. But I think you need bigger groups for negativity so you feel good about it. So when it's one about negative behavior in groups, if you take out one individual, you put him on a plane, and in another country where they don't speak the language, and especially when it's about race, then put them in between those people and they will learn, you know, cross the ego a little bit. I think also a lot of people have such a big ego that stands in the way of their own development. And I see everything that I'm speaking is about is not that I have some kind of degree on the wall, walk in a suit and lick ass to make a little bit money. No, I talk about real life. I talk with people on the floor. I talk with people who are homeless. I talk with everybody. The homeless people are waving at me. It's true. Now I'm over here in the bushes or in the forest in Knarzerlo. So I also do this a little bit on purpose to stay away, because you know I want to keep my vlogs like this, raw, unedited, and if you follow me on Instagram, you see also my daily things, my training things, and when it's about my vlogging, still try to find the right format, my voice, but I don't put too much pressure on it. You know, people who want to work with me, they can pretty much see from the past. I think at the moment this vlog is 137, maybe 136, and you can see there is not a lot of things that you can actually, probably nothing that you can say, oh yeah, over there you change your mind and all that kind of stuff. No, because before I start publishing my vlogs, I was really aware of the fact, once it starts hitting off and you start following me, you and all your friends, but you know what, you know, when I'm at vlog 500, then I still would have the same flow, real, unedited. Of course, probably my perspective on life will evolve, because like I said, I'm doing this 7 days a week, 18 hours a day. So then, you know, the learning curve is pretty steep, you know, fast. And that's another thing, right? When it's about negative people and I tell them some exercises that you can actually do to get out of your head, then, you know, they say, no, I take my time. So how much do you want to, you know, go out, get out of your head, grow? If I would sit next to people who actually lived a life of freedom, I would ask, how would you do this? And that's another thing, curiosity. And also, don't be afraid to ask. And there are, of course, limits. But then also when it's about one guy, and I made him, I gave him a little bit body language directions, because I could see if he would continue, if he continues like this, it will take him a long time. He's now 36. He was really in the pointing finger game, inside the 60 centimeter personal space, constantly tries to force up his own negative view on life and how much he wants to change. But not only this, how much he wants to change, but his real character is constantly dripping through it. And yes, you know, see, people like me, we see this, and I prefer that somebody is very genuine and straightforward about it. But the thing is, his real character is simply dripping through. And not only this, it's the first, he was for the first time on a holiday at 36 by himself. And this is no disrespect, but if you can speed up your process, why not just ask? Just ask. That's another thing, right? Just ask for things. Don't be afraid to ask. It's your life, and if you think that you don't offend anybody by it and you will benefit from it, okay, you're not gonna ask for $1 million. You ask for normal people advice. And you know, people, like I said also in one vlog, losers will pull you down, winners will push you up. So if you know that somebody has something that, you know, that he maybe or she does better than you, then ask. You know, people who, let's say, a little bit ahead of your game or the game that you want to play, you know, they are willing to tell you. They're willing to tell you. And people want to somehow, whether it's negative or positive, and it depends on which position you choose or which you now do have,